The strong Australian dollar has been a double-edged sword for the wine industry. Exports have plummeted, while local wine lovers have been empowered to indulge a taste for European wines. And it's not just that. Competition's intensified, Aussie quality has been called into question, and a wine glut's pushed down prices. In the midst of it all, though, the historic Château Tanunda in the Barossa Valley. Its owners sticking by the European market while others ran scared. And it moved into the US market when others were retreating, picking up awards along the way. In fact, in just 2 years, Château Tanunda has built US exports to 8% of its business. It's no small feat in a shrinking economy. Nadine Blaney catching up with Château Tanunda's export manager, Michelle Geber, to find out why the winery made its big US move in such tough times.
America's a really exciting market. They just last year became the #1 wine drinking country in the world per year. So it was an exciting opportunity. We met our importer business partner there, Banffy, also a family-run business, and we saw an opportunity. There was also what we could see was a little bit of a gap in the market where companies were missing out on, and we thought that we could really play in their family-run business a little bit more in a higher price segment, around the $15 to $20 mark, which is seeing a lot of growth at the moment. So we thought we could give it a go, and that's what we went and did.
So given the tough economic times in the United States, what has the secret to Tanunda Wine's success really been?
I think in America it's really important to be quite personal, really have someone who's living in country or working around the markets, being a face for the brand, being an ambassador, and getting people to understand that there's again, like a family behind the wines, that there's an authenticity, that there's a house style. That's really what I found has been the key to success, really being there, working the markets, going out, visiting restaurateurs, working with our distributor and sales teams, and letting people know who you are, and being personal about it.
You mentioned that $15 to $20 range. You've actually won awards in the United States for your wines in that price range. Is that also the key to success in these economic times, keeping your wine so-called commercially priced?
Yeah, absolutely. Value for money is very important in America, and I guess the wines that you can produce at about, that $15, $18 range, you can really put some excellent wine in the bottle, and that's really what we see as bringing to the table a value for money wine. Certainly, I know that, in these economic times, people might be drinking just a little lower price point. So once you start getting up to that $25, $30 bottle of wine, it's a little bit more difficult and more hesitant for people to go and buy those kind of products. But it's definitely for us been a key point, to stay under that $20 price point.
And is Tanunda expanding into other overseas markets? We have China right on our doorstep. And by all accounts, the taste for wine there is growing and will only continue to grow. Are you making inroads there?
Yeah, we definitely are. It's a market that, people in our team, I've been to China. It's really exciting. Their wine consumption is going up. We go and visit there a couple of times a year. We have part of our winemaking team go there and go to each of the different sort of areas in China, so not just sticking to like a Shanghai or a Beijing, but going into some of the broader areas as well.
The Chateau and its property were really left in a state of disrepair by its former owners, SOUTHCORP. About 1998, your father, John, really did turn the story around, restoring the buildings to their former glory. And it really has since become a focal point for the local community, as well as being an amazing place for visitors with the cellar door tours. I believe about 60,000 people a year visit Château Tanunda. So how important is that to the overall business?
I think it's really important. It's really important for people to know that there's a home to our wine, our philosophies. It's great to see the history in the Australian wine industry. I think that's extremely important, that people can come and see the heritage listed building. Our chateau's 120 years old. I I think a little bit internationally, there's been a bit of a view with Australian wines that it's been quite a modern thing, that it's only the last 10 to 15 years that Australian wine has really taken off. But certainly in the Barossa, we've got 160 years of winemaking tradition. You know, settlers who came in the 1840s. In the Barossa, we have wines that are vines that are over 100 years old. And so when people come and visit Château Tanunda, they come and visit the region, they really start to grasp and understand this historic, you know, timeline to the Australian wine industry, Australian wine, and get a really good feel for the authenticity of it all.
And do visitors come from overseas as well, or are they mostly domestic visitors?
We get a real mix. Certainly people coming in from America, which is about as far as you can go. A lot of people coming from Asia, our domestic visitors. We run a really exciting sports event, a cricket event annually that brings people from the West Indies, India, England, you name it. So.
And will Château Tanunda always stay a family-owned business?
Yeah, that's definitely the track, that we will remain a family business.
And when it comes to succession planning, John Geber, your father, is currently the owner and oversees the business. But are there plans for you to take the helm one day?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Certainly, it's something that we're building up towards. I know that when I'm out there internationally on the wine circuit and I'm meeting other young second generation wine families, meeting a lot of mentors out there, that when I'm in the company of these people, I feel very comfortable and enjoy the stories that we share. So there's a lot of great mentors out there. And yeah, I feel pretty confident that that's the road that we're on.
And what about women in winemaking? Are you a rarity in the business? It's a business that's traditionally, of course, been dominated by men. The
second generations in the wine industry, it's all about families. So we see a lot of young, up-and-coming women in the wine industry. It's certainly a place that's very open to women, because there's a lot of different areas in wine that you can, you know, be a part of, whether it's in the vineyards and the pruning or the winemaking, or getting into sort of more the creative services. You know, your marketing or your PR. So there's a lot of room for women, and it's open to that.
And this being Australia Day, how about Australian wines in general overseas? Is there still a big market, plenty of room to grow, and even to dominate when it comes to quality?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in Australia we have a really unique climate where, you know, the wines are always very consistent. In our wine innovation, we've got some of the best winemaking education in Australia, and so I really believe that there is still opportunity out there globally for Australian wines, and we're still making our mark and still producing excellent wine.